If you're having sales issues, this should be the first thing you do every single time you're having issues like that. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about sales-related issues. Right now I'm bombarded with people saying their sales are starting to tank across the board all over the place. Now, obviously, it depends on what you sell as to how well your sales are going to go. If you're selling winter stuff and we're heading into spring, summer, you're not going to be selling as much of it. Things are going to die off regardless. Now, we sell a lot of collectibles and vintage, which doesn't die off as much. Aside from the categories, the number one thing I see after looking at a couple hundred stores probably and looking at issues people have had with things in their store themselves, one of the biggest things you can do immediately, the second you see issues going on, is to check your keywords. Check what your titles are. You will be surprised what one single word added to your title can do to it. It can mean the difference between not selling it and selling it. This is a huge area that far too many people overlook. Let's actually look at what happens with sales in most every store across there. Let's say you listed 100 items a day and you sold a few of them pretty quickly. Usually what happens with the first ones that are sold, it's either two different things. Either you listed it with some wrong word or a wrong price, and someone cherry-picked your store, which happens all the time on eBay. People will have certain search results set up so that when somebody pops something up, they immediately get a notice of that item. If it's too low, they're going to buy it immediately. Now, that's just one small percentage of what most people do. If you research and do your due diligence, that shouldn't happen to you. Now, the other ones that sold immediately would be items that you actually titled great, you had a good price on them, you gave a good description, and they sold very quickly, even at a high price. So those are usually what happens to the very first couple items that sell in your store. Now, those sales will keep coming in over a certain length of time. Next day, you might get another sale or two. Now, as time goes by, weeks after you've initially listed any big group batch like that, most of the best ones will be yanked out and picked. They will have been purchased already. You've had offers and the whole works. At least the ones that you've properly identified. Now, when I look at a store, the first thing I usually notice, obviously, pictures and the title. Those are the first two most important things of every single listing. If the photo is fine quality, it's a nice quality photo, look at your keywords, look at your title itself. Now, I've used this example before with pug dogs. If I put something up with a pug dog in it and don't put the word pug, I won't sell it as quickly. It's just the way it is. Now, this can go with lots of different animals. If you just put lizard and say it's an iguana or a chameleon or something like that, it may sell better with a specific type. Somebody who owns that type of animal or that item or something along that line will want it because of that. But if you're not putting those keywords in there, it just may not sell. I'll give you another example. I had a coffee cup up for a very long time, and it had a dog on it. I hadn't a clue. I guesstimated what I thought the dog was. I tried to look it up, to no avail. Somebody emailed me and said, hey, this is the type of dog you got. If you add that to the title, I bet you'll sell it almost immediately. I added it to the title. I looked up what that dog was. Sure enough, that person was right. It was correct. I actually raised the price, added that to the title, and it sold within a day. So a keyword is incredibly important with your store. It's one of the first things you should be looking at every single time that you have an issue. Constantly go back in and check those out. And when you're looking up these keywords, another very important fact of those specific keywords you have in there is how eBay shows search results. Depending on words you have in your title, some search results that a buyer may be typing in to search on eBay may direct them to a specific category. And that buyer, potential buyer, may not have a clue and may be missing 20, 30, 40% of all of the items that could have shown up for the specific keywords they were using. If you're using bad keywords or listing it in different categories, your items simply may not be showing up. So those keywords you use, you have to do some basic searches on to see where eBay shows the results at. Because the results sometimes, as I said, are narrowed down very specifically. If I type in, say, Weeble versus Weebles, I'll get two different search results. One narrows it down to toys, and one will give me results that show everyone on the platform. Many people don't list many items in the category you might think it would be listed in. Many reasons that people do that. Now, we list certain things in different categories. I may list a trading card in a comic book section because it's a comic-related one, something vintage or something along that line. Or a postcard of Superman, say, in the comic Golden Age section. I wouldn't necessarily list it in the postcard section because the person who would want a postcard, say, from 1942 of Superman or Batman is going to be a comic book collector. And if they're typing in Batman comic or something along that line, and you're not going to see it if I list it in postcards. So that's why certain things like that, you have to switch up the category. And if you're not switching it up correctly, you're not paying attention to where the results are for your specific keywords, you could be eliminating yourself from many search results. It's an issue with how eBay is doing the search results for buyers these days. I've covered this topic a couple times in videos as well. It's something that's fairly aggravating to a lot of people. This is something you can test yourself. I had many people look up specific search queries based on keywords and had them report how many actual items showed up in the search results. Most of the people that I had do this, 90+%, had no clue that eBay was narrowing their search results. So they were missing quite a big chunk of the actual listings. Now, again, keywords are so important, but you have to look at every aspect of those keywords as you do it. Make sure you're putting it in a category that will show up with those keywords. Listing some items in the wrong category won't give you good results. But like with a Superman or a Batman postcard listing in the comic book section, as I said, that's where the majority of people would be interested. So that makes the most sense. And if you type in Batman comic, it's going to show up in one of those categories in the first place. So that is key to it. If you've had your items up for a very long time, eBay has changed some of these search result queries. So you may be missing out on sales because the keywords you're using may not be the appropriate one tied to the category that you have the items in. So the keyword you've been using for many years may not be relevant anymore. It may have changed where the results show up. My top recommendation is to constantly go back and check your listing titles. Add some words if you don't get sales on it. Take some words out. Check the category you have them in versus your keyword. You may need to switch the category up and change some of the keywords. But keywords alone can get you a sale extremely quickly if you pay attention to them. You can use Google Trends, which I've talked about and I have videos on as well. You can see which keywords may trend higher than the other one, which will give you a better results. You can also go into eBay Terapeak and click on some trending keywords to see what's selling on the platform right now, what's trending. eBay Terapeak, the trending options are extremely good these days. Some of the other options aren't so great, but trending will give you some good results on keywords, as would Google Trending. You can use the two of them together to see which words are the best. Now, if you've sold for many years the same type of items in the same categories, you'll probably know the correct keywords. Keywords are the most important, though. If you don't get those right, you won't get the sales. Once someone's cherry-picked your store, as I said, the sales could dry up with using the wrong keywords. So that's literally the first best place to look. I would say the majority of stores that I've looked at, and I've looked at a couple hundred, the majority of them, when I've pointed out keywords to add, have been able to sell some of the items by simply changing a word or adding a word into the title. That's the end of it. You don't have to put something on sale trying to sell it better. Many times you may put something on sale, and had you just changed a keyword or added a keyword, you may have sold it at full price instead of discounting it trying to sell it that way. There'll be less people seeing it without that keyword in there. That's the point. So if, let's say, you put it on sale, you mark it down, you lower the price, the few people who realize what it was will snap it up, and they may buy it from you, turn around, put the right keywords in there, and resell it and make a ton of money. That happens quite often. I have seen it on eBay left and right from other sellers as well. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some solid key information. That's the best way I can tell you to get some sales pretty darn quickly without giving up any discounts, fees, or anything else. But that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Officer Roadblock grabbed a squad car to stop Cuckoo before he got away.
Set the barricade!
And Officer Taser brought the paddy wagon to blast Hyena. Cop, squad car, and paddy wagon sold separately with caps.